Hey everybody, welcome to the Agent Carter After Show here in a rainy Hollywood. I'm Stephanie Tait, and you can join in the conversation on YouTube, either in the chat box or using the hashtag AgentCarterAS or at AgentCarterAS. We're so excited to have you here, and joining me, as ever, is the amazing, the incredible, the very famous Bryan Scheidler.
Very famous. No eye patch this week, guys. Sorry.
He lost his director status.
Yeah.
It's a little heartbreaking.
I got knocked back down to agent.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
Well,
As a special guest, because our beloved Steve Tenney is doing amazing things, saving the world, we have with us the wonderful, the most beautiful man ever in existence.
Whoa.
Brian Carroll.
Hello. Rest in peace, Steve Tenney.
We love you, Steve.
Learn to spell your name, though. Jeez.
So we had an amazing back-to-back special 2-episode Agent Carter goodness this week. Man, I don't know about you guys, but by the end of it, I was like on the floor, just like, I can't do this anymore.
I will say this time, I knew it was a 2-hour episode, so
Which is,
I was prepared.
You're one step ahead of where you were last
I
time.
think Agent Carter works better in 2-hour chunks.
Yes.
If you think about the first two, they worked together. They were 2 parts of the same story. This was 2 parts of the same story.
Mm-hmm.
It just, I think their stories feel more complete. And this was the best of the season so far. So maybe the other episodes that we weren't as keen on would have played better if they had the follow-up episode, a 2-hour chunk.
Yeah, I do think Peggy Carter functions better as almost a cinematic character as opposed to a television character. What about you? What did
I like it, because one of the complaints has been that the show is kind of slow-moving in its plot. So when you have 2 hours, you're kind of able to run up on the plot a little bit, get a little bit more stuff done, and you can end on a cliffhanger probably a little bit better than you could if it's an hour.
Mm-hmm. I feel like there's always a lot more action when they do 2 hours, because they know that they have time to develop the characters and give something that's bright and shiny to people.
Yeah, and specifically about this chunk, though, it would have felt really, really disjointed with Dottie in the second episode if it was split up.
Yeah.
Dottie's story just kind of carried over, but she wasn't necessarily as integral. I mean, they had to finish off her story, and it would have been too rushed to do it in one episode.
Yeah.
But if they had split that, it would have really felt disjointed.
Mm-hmm.
But overall, hands down, this was the best evening of Agent Carter so far.
Absolutely. I completely agree. I think this was the strongest storyline that they've had so far. And I feel like they were finally pushing everything along. They were finally getting the story moving.
Yeah, things were finally happening.
Yeah.
It's good when things happen.
Yeah.
I wish
so I'm told.
Right. I wish they would have had this episode earlier.
Yes. Or taken out a couple of the episodes.
Yeah.
We've had 6 episodes of Wilkes being like, what? Oh no, I'm disappearing. It's like, okay, let's go.
They could have rushed that along and be like, and figured out that the dark matter could have solidified him, because they've had that in the lab near him this entire time.
Yeah. It's been a little slow. But you know who my favorite part of this episode, and I feel like we finally got to see who she can be. She's finally becoming Madame Mask, is our wonderful, wonderful, wonderful Whitney Frost. Oh my goodness. This episode, we finally got what we've been waiting for this whole season. We got to see her literally get rid of her dead weight husband. Can I just say, I wanted her to do that from day one. When she started doing the things with the mice, you knew where this was going, girlfriend. You should have done it like immediately. But we got to see her come into her own. We got to see her become that character we love in the comic books, who's just devious and cunning and intelligent and capable. She's so capable. I mean, she runs an organization.
I was really waiting, though, before the big party scene. It's like, wait, we're getting the mask. The mask? Yeah, we're going to have a mask. Even if it's a masquerade ball. No, conveniently placed hat. Okay.
It's going to be a normal party.
That's boring. Okay.
I was waiting for it, too. When he's like, oh, wait, let me find something for you to cover up that crack. I was like, oh, here we go. Here comes the golden mask. And then he brings out a hat that just conveniently matches her outfit.
Points to him for picking the matching hat. I mean,
really? Is he aware enough to understand women's fashion?
I think he was like, it's got a thing that's dropping down.
Yeah, he's like, it's a thing.
It really should have been a completely like terrible hat, but she still like was just focused on the scar, so she was like, oh, it's perfect, and it's like completely clashed. And
it could have been like duct tape. He's like, here, I got something perfect for you.
Nobody
Let's go
will
to
notice.
the party.
It's a little bit shiny.
I do like what he did though, leading up to this, when he told her what he did, because he kind of used her playbook. Oh, but this is only something you can do. You're so much better at this. You're so smarter. You know this so much better. They need to hear your words.
Where do you think he learned it?
Yeah, it was totally what she did to him, and we saw actually a lot of people this episode using that. So it's like he was finally learning from her. Too late. Too late.
Well, that's what you get for double-crossing your wife, who can literally melt things with goo.
Yeah, I don't know what the exit strategy with that was.
Hey, they had ropes, okay?
Yeah, they're like, don't touch her. That's the only thing she can do. We haven't tested her properly, but I think this might work.
I mean, she's basically an animal, right?
Yeah, she's an animal.
I guess.
We'll just feed her every now and again, give her a big hamster wheel, and that will provide our energy. Like, there was no exit strategy with the plan.
She does love rodents, so I guess a hamster wheel would have worked.
Yeah.
I loved, though, when she and Dottie got to come up against each other. That was another favorite moment. Seeing the two of them, because the only time Dottie got scared was after she saw what Whitney could do, and then she was in the trunk and she just opens it and the cracks facing her. I thought that was fantastic. I love seeing the two of them play off of each other, especially after Dottie was so good at just playing with Vernon Masters. That was so wonderful.
The interesting thing about the interaction between Dottie and Whitney was Dottie was trying to do her kind of like, I'm playing with you things. Like, oh, I feel like we're in the same boat. And Whitney, it's like she didn't even care or get that Dottie was playing with her or trying to, because she's like so overwhelmed by her power and what she wants to do and what she can do that she's just like, oh, sweetie.
Really? See, I think she knew from the get-go and was like, okay. So
to me, it came across like, whatever you're thinking, we are in completely different oceans.
I loved that line.
Yeah, which a great scene altogether. You know.
Yeah. Oh man, I loved having Dottie back though. Dottie was one of my favorite characters from the first season, and she's just, first of all, the actress who plays her is incredibly talented, but getting to see her develop that character even more, because she loves Peggy, and the only thing that I think really got to her with Vernon Masters was when he said, you know, do you really think Peggy's going to do anything for you after this? You know, I think that actually hurt her a little bit, because even though she logically knows that, I think at the same time there's a part of her that really wants them to be on the same side. She wants somebody to have her back, and Peggy speaks a language that she understands, because both of the women are spies and they're in a male-dominated, you know, world. And so having somebody who's her, well, not quite her equal, because Dottie's so much better, but I think having somebody like Peggy feeds her in a very almost positive way. And so I think that's the one sort of hook that Vernon got in.
Yeah.
She was she was very playfully antagonistic.
Yeah.
I will say she was cold to everyone, but as soon as Peggy was back in her life, it's like she had hope again.
Yeah, well,
even though she knew the game was afoot. It's this Holmes Moriarty thing. You've got they're both at the top of their game. They both have such respect for each other, yet they do not trust each other, and it's just that constant battle of wits.
Well, she also had, I think, genuine concern when Peggy came in. At first, you know, she was amused that she was in character, but then when she saw that she was struggling because she has a hole in her body, can somebody please tell that woman just to sit down?
To go to a hospital?
Go to a hospital, please. I think she showed genuine concern for Peggy. And I like that. I like that as terrifying as Dottie is because she can shut it off, I like seeing the humanity in her every once in a while because she only shows it to Peggy. Mm-hmm. It's delicious.
But you need that contrast. Like, you don't know how truly chilling someone can be unless you see how they can be on the other side. Mm-hmm. It's like if you're just an evil character and you have no dimension to you, it's like, okay, I get it, you're evil. But like, you need that perspective, which is why it's good to see that kind of side of her.
Well, we saw that last week with Manfredi.
Yes.
He is so overly loving towards Whitney.
He still is. We saw that this week, too.
Yeah. But then on a dime, he gets savage.
Right.
Just brutal. And so that's why it's totally perfect that Whitney and him are now basically, they're the heads of the Magia.
Well, you know, manners are important.
But we got to know who he is in like a scene. You know, it's very important to have that. Like, I compare it to, there's a lot of Shakespearean tragedies where even in the darkest tragedies, everyone is being killed. There's still a clown character. And his job is just to kind of contrast the action. And being like, look how funny this play could be, and now let's bring it back into tragedy. And that's how you have to write it and have to structure it. So it's good to see those characters with that kind of contrast so quickly.
Yeah, well, we got that with Whitney last week, where she said that her thing was, well, and we saw it this week as well, where she's like, you know, we can take away all fear and terrible things in the world. And when she was speaking to Jason Wilkes and was like, you know, I mean, of course, they hired him and women and so forth because they were being underrepresented, and so having them be represented, it was like, oh, see, we're on your side, so you have to do whatever we say. But she knows how that feels. You know, that moment where she said to Dottie, you know, that she was not doing film anymore because she gave too much of herself to it, that she had sacrificed too much being in front of the camera. I love it. I love, you know, in the moments that she has with Manfredi where, you know, he tells her that she's so beautiful. You know, everybody, whenever they see the crack on Whitney's face, looks like they're going to puke. Except for Manfredi, when he's like, oh, you're just so beautiful.
He's just going through the motions. That's like, I really like his character, and I like Ken Marino for pulling it off. It's like, because like the worst things are happening, and he's just reacting as if nothing's happening.
Yeah.
They're like, you know, she wants an audience with you. It's like, I don't want to do it. It's like, I'll go tell her that. You know, and it's like he shuts down any opposition.
You want a grappa? You want a grappa? Grappa.
That was beautiful, especially being part Italian. I was like, thank you.
The one thing I think we still need to bring up just with Whitney is she's clearly being possessed or interacting with some other being.
Yes.
When she was sitting there talking to herself, she wasn't just speaking out loud. She was having a conversation,
which I thought was wonderful.
It's so great, and this ties into what you know, a lot of the theories are about dark matter and that kind of portal gateway we saw when Jason was disappearing.
The Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
Yes.
If only he would tell us what the problem is.
Yeah.
It's like, but that's a conversation for a different time. It's like, tell us now. We need to know
that
this
seems
information.
relevant if we're going to inject you with more of this stuff.
Yeah,
but
you're not helping us at all.
I think this is confirming that there is some greater being, possibly Blackheart, in this other dimension that is using this as a foothold to come in here.
Yeah. Well, let us know what you think. Join us on the conversation on YouTube or on Twitter using @AgentCarterAS or the hashtag AgentCarterAS. So since we're talking about people who are coming into their power, let's talk about who's not coming into her power. You know, the title character of the show, who I love. I love Peggy Carter, and she's wonderful, but damn, she is literally, she can't even walk right now.
But see, I think this was an interesting move because it forced Peggy to not just go in punching. Which, if you remember at the beginning, she's, you know, Wilkes is like, are you going to punch everyone in L.A.? And she's like, well, everyone needs a house. Yeah. But it's putting her in a position she is not comfortable with.
Right.
And so it should have been... it should have been an opportunity for them to really get her to grow in a different way, and instead they used it almost every time to deal with her relationships.
Yeah,
I think that was the biggest problem with Peggy, specifically this episode.
But I think
except for the Carmen Jarvis.
Oh my goodness, I think it actually makes a lot of sense though, given that they have, in my opinion, really removed her power because her motivation. And let me know if you guys think I'm wrong. a lot of her motivation is coming from a sense of guilt and a sense of romantic inclination. And so, of course, her character's not going to develop at a time when she could suddenly show everyone how incredibly intelligent she is. And you see moments of that. You see moments of that. But I think too often she just sort of has to take a seat to her own show, essentially. Her own life and her own show.
No, absolutely. Yeah, she is not really involved in her own show anymore.
I do think they started off strong, at least with this, when Wilkes is freaking out and Peggy's like, shut up, build a containment thing and get some of her blood. This is what we're going to do, figure it out. Like, she's like, this is the plan. Then it was a little convoluted, but she still was willing to take the risks and knew, I'm hurt, I can't go in there. Oh, and everyone there will recognize me. Yeah. That's the problem with their one little team right now.
Yeah.
Everyone is very recognizable. But she's like, she was willing to put herself on the line. She had these plans, she had ideas, and she's like, no, this is what we're going to do. This is the only way it'll work. And we all know we're kind of operating outside the law. And so to do that, the extreme measures are called for.
Yeah.
But like, here's the thing about the containment thing. And everything. Like, it's not valuable because it doesn't contribute to the overall plot of stopping Whitney Frost, and it only serves, like, Wilkes just wants to be able to walk around like a person again. And Wilkes is not contributing. He's withholding information, for another time. And they're risking their lives just so they can get dark matter for no other reason that they just like this guy.
Yes. It's true. Well, and you made a really good point earlier that Wilkes is so selfish that even when we first meet him, we meet him because on company time, he's developing alcohol.
He's just making wine. It's like he made the first container, right? Mm-hmm. And apparently they just thought that was so great that they're like, just do whatever you want now. Just do whatever you want. We can't fire you because you know too much.
Okay, but in his defense, if I could brew my own beer or make wine on company time, I think I'd do it too.
Sure, but he doesn't get to be part of the Agent Carter group, right?
Yeah.
If there's only 5 members in it, it's like, maybe we shouldn't get the connoisseur. Maybe we should get, like, the guy with a gun.
Or Rose, who showed that she was
right, she's gone.
Yeah,
she's already gone.
She had a death in the family. Or her mom was sick or something.
Death in the family.
Yeah,
I love how
Howard's been gone for a while. I think that's something that's been surprising to me.
No. Howard is always there in the form of his Stalin portrait.
That's true.
He's overseeing everything.
Just inspiring everybody.
Oh, man.
I want one of these weeks the portrait to be gone and he's just standing there watching.
But nobody notices?
Yeah. Because it's his ploy.
I just don't know why we're helping Wilkes. I honestly don't know why.
Yeah.
Like, what benefit does he have even being in the containment chamber?
None.
Like, what can he do now that he couldn't do before? Because he still can't leave the room.
Peggy Carter.
Yeah, but he can't leave the room.
He could leave the room for like 5 minutes.
Yeah, but in terms of like, we are going to go on an Earth-saving mission to go stop Whitney Frost, to stop the evil board of directors. We're all going to do that, but you can't leave the room whether you're tangible or not. So we can fit half as much or double the plot.
The explanation they give is that he is vital to their case.
It's rubbish.
Even though their case against Isodyne now is irrelevant.
Yeah.
Right.
Because that's not the point of the show anymore.
And
right.
Their case against Chadwick is irrelevant because he doesn't exist anymore.
Right.
Yeah.
Sorry to the voters of California.
Yeah, nobody's running for Senate
No one's
now.
running for Senate.
And it was the best election ever.
Yeah, exactly.
That was the easiest. No one won by a landslide.
Why did all the California schools get defunded in the 40s? That's weird.
It's just so strange. I feel like they're just really losing their focus with Peggy Carter, and it's such a shame because she's such a great character. She's such a great character, which is why she got her own TV show. And I'm hoping, and I think they can do it, I think this episode proved that within the next 3 episodes, which of course are the last 3 episodes, I think they can finally bring Peggy Carter back. I really do. I think they're going to find a way to get her back into that position of being out in the field without having to punch her way through, her using her cunning and her experience.
Well, by the end of the 2-parter, she was completely healed. If you didn't notice that, the wound was gone. She was walking around like nothing was wrong. She was fine.
Yeah, can somebody please just Anna Jarvis needs to push her down and like tie her up.
This season actually takes place over the course of 4 years. That's what you're not getting.
Oh, okay, got it. Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah, but
That
no,
makes
I agree
sense.
though. Peggy Carter has to be the one who hits the button in
Yeah.
the end. Like she has to be the one to be like, wait a minute, this plan is garbage, and I have a better plan, and now I'm clever again.
Can't come back at the last second again.
Right, let's stop helping Wilkes, because I'm realizing right now when I take a step back from it that he's useless, you know?
Or she could realize, you know what, I'm seeing more of him. I actually think he's a bad guy. Maybe I should go take a look at those communist passports.
Yeah, everybody knows that he's a bad guy except for Peggy.
I liked him when he was a mystery. I don't like him anymore.
Yeah.
He's too tangible. Is that a thing?
He's too real.
He's gotten really clingy ever since he's had a corporal form.
He got really clingy ever since he can finally cling on to things.
Nice.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Well done.
I'll be here all night.
I love that. Well, let us know what you guys think. If you think Peggy's going to be able to pull it together.
Clingy.
You're welcome. What I found interesting, on top of everything else, is how you essentially had the SSR versus the SSR again, but now Vernon Masters is in charge? What the hell?
I feel like every time Vernon Masters comes into a scene, his dialogue's like, you know, I'm just a simple guy. But if you don't do what I want or what the council wants, I'm gonna have to murder you.
He's consistent.
He's very consistent. I mean, maybe it's a little more subtle, like once.
Well,
maybe once it was more subtle. The first time he talked to Sousa. But no, he's just he's got like a name tag that just says, "Hi, I'm the bad guy."
Yeah. Yeah, and he thinks nobody's going to notice.
My name is Vernon Masters.
Vernon Masters.
Maybe he's the bad guy.
Well, what I think is interesting was, apparently I find everything interesting in this episode, but I do think that Jack Thompson, in his own way, is starting to figure it out. Well, I think he's always known, but I think he's gonna find the strength to actually back up Peggy. So it'll be interesting to see how that moves forward now that Sousa's out of control, or not out of control, but out of power.
I'm just
and Peggy has no backup.
I'm hoping Thompson has figured it out already and he's playing Vernon Masters.
That would be sweet.
Which is
Do
why
you think he's smart enough?
only 3 episodes will tell.
Oh my. Oh
so
my.
we'll see.
Well, on that note, we'll be right back with your fan questions, so stay tuned. I really think that Jack Thompson...
In case you missed it live.
In case you missed it live. In case you missed it live.
Oh, you'd want to take the time travel the whole way back.
How did you not figure that out?
We had a crazy vampire threesome, and you can't unsee that. That's burned into my brain now.
I was like, how did you get here? No. Look at me, I'm dancing.
You know why we saying yes. You know why we saying yes.
He was like, yeah, I'll tell you whatever you want.
He is quite something.
And we're like, inseparable. She was shadier than Sunglass Hut with Ray-Bans on sale, ladies and gentlemen.
No, it wasn't. So come on.
You just went to a totally different direction on that.
When a billionaire goes broke, it means he's got like $4 million.
Hold the phone.
Hold on.
Bro.
I found her to be deliciously out of control.
Oh man, looking forward to this fight.
Ooh, they about to get together. Watch, it's about to go down.
Somebody better take some pictures of this.
She just slapped the crap out of Nick.
And he's just
It's so good.
You can't count anything out.
Look at you.
It's been another awesome night at theStream.tv, guys.
Thank you for joining us, you guys. We love you.
That was a distraction. Welcome back, you guys. So we're going to go to the Twitter universe and see what people were thinking about this amazing 2-hour special. Go ahead.
And I'm on Twitter duty. So, from at 16 and 1K4. Oh my God, the arc reactor schematics. Hashtag Agent Carter.
Yeah, not only did that come up again, but it was Whitney who called it out.
I honestly feel like that was a crap. We've gone 2 hours and haven't thrown in enough Easter eggs.
Yeah.
Here, let's just leave the arc reactor blueprints laying around in a room full of.
As one does.
Just
Yeah.
sketches.
Yeah, you know. Stark had a vault for experiments. He doesn't have a place to put blueprints.
Apparently not. I mean,
Folder.
well, he's
portfolio.
always watching everyone with his Stalin portrait. So I guess he doesn't have to have a security system.
He's too busy being a metaphor.
Nice.
So the next one is from at 10 Stevens. What's your take on the Agent Carter downfall this year? Last year was so good, and this year is so bland.
Way to go, 10 Stevens.
You know, I don't like this guy at all.
This guy, Steve Tenney, he's trouble.
Sounds
Trouble.
like a jerk.
You take that back.
I do think that this season was a slow start, but what they showed with this episode, and I think it was Brandon Easton who was one of the co-writers on it, I think they're finally, and it's a shame that it's a short series. I think Agent Carter would either do well as a movie or as a long-form TV series, but I think they're finally starting to find their voice. It's just
The last three are going to make or break it.
Yeah.
Because right now the setup, it's like it could either be great or it's going to like, okay, all right, it's just as slow as before.
Well, I agree with what Stephanie's saying, that this show, a lot of the episodes have been, these would be really, really strong episodes in a full 22, 24 episode season. But
Yeah.
this is a 10 episode season, so you can't waste any time.
No.
And there is 2 or 3 episodes that they could have condensed, gotten rid of certain plot elements. Like you're saying, the magic Schrodinger box, you know.
yeah.
Is Jason Wilkes alive in there? Is just Jason Wilkes dead in there?
And the answer is like no one cares.
Well, I'm really, 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 really hoping that this 2-hour special brings a lot of the Agent Carter fans who were giving up, and that it means that we can get a 3rd season, because I do think this character deserves to have a 3rd season, and I think that they should give it the chance to be in a longer form for a television series as opposed to essentially a mini-series.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So we'll see.
And finally for the Twitter is at Michelle Fazekas, quote, "Your idealism blinds you, Peggy. Remember that. Hashtag Agent Carter."
I would like to note that that is the showrunner. So she's saying that we need to remember Dottie's line.
Yeah.
It's going to get real.
Yeah, that's the thesis statement.
Yeah.
Right?
She's
Pretty
right,
much.
though. She's right. Peggy's idealism does blind her. I think she's too busy always having, you know, she's fallen into the Captain America trap where she always has to do the right thing. She has to be the good guy. She has to make up for her mistakes.
But I think the very fact that she broke Dottie out shows change.
Character development.
Is starting. So
A little too late.
we've got 3 whole episodes in order for Peggy to completely meet her potential.
Let's hope so.
Oh, dear.
Because that happens in TV, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So what do we have on YouTube?
Okay, so first, Go-Go, who's here every week. Thank you, Go-Go.
We love you, Go-Go.
A couple things. Wanted to know, are we going to see S.H.I.E.L.D. formed at the end of this season?
Boy, I hope so.
That would be outstanding.
Appropriate.
But someone else in the chat, Andrew Cantabane, I apologize for watching that. He reminded there was that one shot which takes place after the Agent Carter series where Howard calls her up and she's back in New York.
Right in the one shot.
And
yeah.
that they establish S.H.I.E.L.D. at that point.
And
so,
she's back in the New York office.
So we might not actually see S.H.I.E.L.D. officially in the show, but we do know that it will eventually.
Like we just figured out how to make these logos.
Yeah. It's like, hey, we're looking for a new name. What do you think of this? Hammer, chisel,
Sword.
spork,
Sport.
shield. Oh, wait. Let's go. Let's do that one. Shield? No, spork.
It's like figure out the acronym for that.
Yeah.
'Cause we're gonna need that later.
And then we'll come back to that.
So yeah, that was One thing nobody's asked about and we didn't really get a chance to talk about,
Jarvis.
the Jarvis-I. The
Love them.
Jarvises.
I like Jarvis-I.
Jarvis.
Okay. Anna, the entire episode was foreshadowing that her or Jarvis were going to get hurt.
Yeah.
They wanted you to think it was Jarvis because it's like, oh, he's going out on these dangerous things and I have to let him, but he has to let me worry. So they really wanted us to be like, Jarvis is going to get hurt and it's going to confirm all of her fears. And then it's her.
Yeah, that broke my heart. I literally yelled.
You want to know why it happened? Because she was sharing a $1,000 bottle of wine with Jason Wilkes.
Yeah, instead of with Peggy.
Yeah, he does not deserve that
Did
wine.
you notice that every time a character shares a $1,000 bottle of wine with Jason Wilkes, they get shot?
Yeah, every single time.
It's punishment.
That's just my theories for the show.
Oh, dear. Poor Jason Wilkes. Bye-bye, Jason Wilkes. Well, thanks so much for joining us this week, you guys. Make sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel and also check us out on theStream.tv and join us on the Twitter universe at Agent Carter AS or using the hashtag Agent Carter AS. And we will see you next week for another 2-hour special. I can't wait. And let's keep our fingers and toes crossed, keep tweeting and everything else for season 3. So, yay! Thanks, everybody. Have a great week.
I could go for a $1,000 bottle of wine right
Let's
now.
do it right now.
Let's do it.
I'm not going to do it.